the meeting to order, but before we do, I just wanted to we're gonna have the students have a presentation, so we're gonna move them up to number, like, before citizen comments there, and then we do have a non-public that we're gonna jump right into after that. So we're just gonna move the agenda around just a little bit to accommodate everybody. So with all that, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. 6:01. We're good? Okay. Approve minutes from 3/4/21. We'll get that out of the way.
Making a motion to approve the minutes from 3/4/21.
I can second that.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Jim?
Do the honors. Thank you. Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Darlene,
Yes.
and Kate.
Yes.
Great. We'd like to move on to the presentation of school programs for the students to do presentation, and then we'll move on from there. Oh, I'm so excited. I haven't seen students in a while. This is exciting. All right.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, I guess I'm gonna kick it off here.
Yeah,
Hi, everybody. Whoop, sorry.
No, go ahead, John.
Oh, okay, sorry. Oh, I couldn't see you there.
Hey, hold on a second. The screen isn't shared yet. I can't get
Okay.
onto the screen share.
Okay.
You should be good now.
It says that you cannot start screen share while the other participant is sharing.
Hey, Libby.
Yeah, you've got, there you go.
There you go.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Mr. Marshall.
Perfect. Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Mr. Marshall. I'm the 5th and 6th grade teacher at the Jackson Grammar School. And recently, in our literacy focus, one of our units that we've been working on is persuasive argument writing. And we've been working on developing strong thesis statements and claims to support an argument that we feel passionate about. We've taken that focus in literacy and applied it now to a presentation and a project that we've been working on since the beginning of the school year on invasive species around the Jackson Grammar School. And so I'm going to pass it over to Ms. Kinsey of Tin Mountain, and she's going to give a little bit more background information.
All right, thank you, Mr. Marshall, and to Macy and Stativa and Bennett for presenting this evening. I have been working with the 5th and 6th grade students throughout the year looking at invasive plants that we've found around the school. And unfortunately, there are a lot of them. We would like to share this presentation tonight about a project that we would like to do regarding one particular invasive plant species found on the property. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to the students. Macy?
Macy, this is your cue.
I think she's muted.
Oh. Unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
A little bit louder, honey.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit louder.
Can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead.
Better. Thank you.
Did you know that there are 5 known invasive species found on the JGS grounds? There are Japanese barberry, bittersweet, yellow iris, burning bush, and glossy buckthorn.
Characteristics of invasive plants. What makes a plant invasive? They are non-native plants. They produce many seeds. They grow aggressively. They spread quickly, and they displace other plants. You may be asking, why are they a problem? They compete directly with native plants. They degrade wildlife habitat. They invade agricultural and forest lands. They affect the water quality. They limit diversity, and they have an economic impact.
Solutions. There are many things people can do to help prevent the spread of invasive plants, including Do not plant invasive plants. Remove invasive plants. Replace with native plants and education.
Spreads quickly because there's many berries which are dispersed by birds and other wildlife. Our concern this is what will happen to the forest of JGS. You might think we are being extreme, but we found a lot of burning bush last fall in the forest behind JGS.
We found burning bush of all sizes. We used a weed wrench and other tools to remove the burning bush. Check out the roots on these plants we pulled out.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is a pile of burning bush we removed from the forest behind the school after 2 one-hour sessions.
We traced the source of the problem to this plant in front of the school. A little history about that. It was planted in 1985 when Mr. Zangari was the principal of the school. And at that point in time, you could legally plant a burning bush plant in your garden. Currently, you're not allowed to sell burning bush in the state of New Hampshire, so it would be illegal to plant one nowadays. At this point, the burning bush is very large, and the shrub produces many new plants each year.
We are asking you for permission to remove, the plant. So here's what we are proposing. We are asking you for permission to remove the burning bush shrub from the memorial plot. We would like to remove the many small burning bush plants surrounding the larger shrub. In addition, we would like to trim back the branches. Next, Mr. Stokey will cut down the burning bush with the chainsaw. Then the stump is pulled out with a tractor or a backhoe. And finally, we can plant a native shrub.
Such as, it's a pretty bush. We agree that it is pretty. However, there are many other beautiful options of native plants that are equally as pretty. It will disturb the birch tree. We checked with the Saco Tree Works, and Raymond said it would be fine to remove the shrub without harming the birch tree. It's also only one bush. This bush has hundreds of seeds on it which can grow into new burning bush plants.
Plant a native shrub. Here are 3 options we are considering to replace the burning bush, all of them being great food plants for wildlife and are attractive plants. Number 1 is mountain ash. Number 2 is red osier dogwood, and last but definitely not least is high bush blueberry.
In closing, we feel strongly that invasive plants should be removed and eradicated from the school grounds. We appreciate your consideration of our request. We are happy to answer any questions regarding our projects.
Wow, that's a lot of work. Very impressive.
Excellent.
And I live really close to the school, so if you could just take that over to my yard, that would be very helpful. No, this is great. I think the work is fabulous. How do you think you're going to come up with the replacement shrub? Anybody?
You guys,
you
what
mean-
do you think?
Like vote on it or?
Oh, okay. I think we'd probably do a little bit more research into some of the options. I have a great shrub book of all the native shrubs, and I think we want to make sure we don't run into the same issues when that was planted in the first time. There's a lot of plants out there, and we need to make sure there's enough room and so forth. And you got to kind of think down the road too in terms of how big these things get. So
Yeah, the only thing I might recommend is that we don't get one that attracts any native bears.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Good idea.
I have a question and a comment. So the question is, what is the best way to dispose of the burning bush? And kind of going back to your comment, you want this to be there for a long time. And in 1985, something that, became invasive, perhaps wasn't in 85, obviously. But how do you pass that information to someone so they know that, this is a non-invasive plant and this is good for, for these reasons, and maybe you can't answer that now. I just think going forward, I think that's hard to do, because personnel change.
Bennett, do you want to try and answer that question about how to dispose of it? Because we were talking about that prior to.
Yes.
So let me ask you a question. Do we have to worry about it like you would have to worry about Japanese knotweed?
No.
No, right. So it's not as invasive as Japanese knotweed where you have to worry about one individual piece. So,
Okay.
because that is a huge concern, and that, outbreaks happen because of that. So there could be some other options, burning it, landfilling it, whatever. So,
Okay.
and then in relation to your other one, I'm sorry, I'll just,
Yeah.
you can literally, one of the slides has there's a book that lists all the native plants. You talk to someone at the garden center and they'll set you straight
Guide
on,
you. Yeah.
on a native plant versus,
Well, it's
think-
very impressive, children and adults. Very informative. I've got a couple invasive things in my yard, so just up the street, you go to Shenandoah Pizza, you can take a right and come in and at least give me some suggestions.
okay.
Thank you very much.
Jen, I have a question.
Yes.
I'm kind of shocked at the amount of burning bush that was behind the school. It's kind of scary. How successful do you think you'll be in eradicating the bush?
How about Sativa or Maisie? Can you explain the weed wrench? Either of you? Do you remember? Yep.
Like how you use it.
Yeah. Why did we use the weed wrench and not just cut it back?
We use the weed wrench because it gets all the like the roots, and when you just clip it, it's just getting the stuff at the top, and it will eventually continue growing. And yeah,
Yeah, that was good.
it gets
That,
the roots, and when you clip it, it only gets the top coat, which will
Right.
eventually, which
Yeah.
won't stop it from growing.
Thank you.
I want one of those.
yeah, it's a pretty cool tool, actually. It was in high demand that day.
Yeah.
Can anyone explain what's it like? What kind of machine was it like, guys, when we did it? You clamp the tree, the base of the tree, and then you pull back on it. Do you remember? It's like kind of like a pulley and a lever, just pulls that right out of the
Like-
ground. Pretty slick.
You move the bottom of it, so it's like, or it goes like that, and you move it between. It's like the tip of a wrench, like how a wrench is,
Right.
and you put it around it, and then you close it, and then you pull it from different directions so that the roots on like the opposite side will come up, and then you have to move it around in a circle in different directions so the other part of the roots come up.
That's pretty cool.
It was,
Yeah. The picture that you showed, was that an actual picture? I thought that was a future picture if we didn't take care of it.
oh, that was not, no, that would be a future picture. Yes.
Okay. I
Yes.
just wanted to clarify. I think.
Yeah. But I gotta tell you, last fall when because the thing about burning bush, you can see it when it turns in the fall because it's this
Right.
beautiful red. It was very red back there behind the school. So, but it was good. It was easy for us to identify and work on getting it out of there. So,
Well, this is great. Thank you. So what are you looking for from the school board this evening, just to clarify? What can we do to support you?
Well, how about I make a motion to authorize the Jackson Grammar School effort to eradicate the burning bush from school property.
I can second that.
Yeah, I'll third it, yes.
Wow. What do you say, guys?
We have to make it official. Kevin?
What do you say, Maisie, Sativa, Bennett? What do we want to say to the school board?
They haven't voted yet.
Oh,
We gotta
okay.
vote yet. Yep, hold on.
I think it's gonna be a tight one. All those in favor of the motion to authorize the students in the school to eradicate the burning bush, Jen Ansaldi,
Yes, please.
Jerry,
Yes.
Darlene,
Yes,
and Kate Fournier.
Yes. This is great. Thank you so much. Really, this
Thank
was
you.
awesome and informative, and it's a great initiative and effort. Thank
And
you
I
all so
learned-
much.
Yeah, I learned something too,
Yeah.
so thank you.
thank
Thank you
you.
very much, guys. We really appreciate it. I think you'll.
How
be-
about that use of technology, huh? These guys,
That was
Here.
impressive.
that's
Nice.
great.
Whole thing.
Now look, so thank you very much for taking the time to listen to us.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, John.
Thanks,
All right.
guys. Have a good night.
Good night, guys. Good
Thanks,
night.
students.
Nicely done.
That was awesome. All right, do we want to go into non-public? No.
Jen, I'd make a motion to go into non-public pursuant to 91A. I'm not sure what the subcategory is here, Kevin. It's
Personnel, 91A32 personnel.
that one. I make a motion to go into non-public for that.
All right, second,
All right, by roll call, Jen,
yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Darlene,
Yes,
and Kate. Okay, I'm going to open up a breakout room right now and pause the recording. So you folks should join the non-public room.
You want me to stay to let people in or come into non-public, Kevin?
That's fine. You can stay, Pam.
Okay.
Jen, I'm not sure with this one. I'll just make the motion just in case we should make the motion to seal the minutes from the personnel. I mean, from the non-public due to personnel reasons.
Yes, please.
Okay,
Second.
and the second.
Yep.
Okay.
And thank you, Kevin. I wasn't sure whether we're supposed to or not, but I figured I'd make the motion first, and if we should, then I'll vote yes to.
That's fine. It's a good move. All those in favor, Jen,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Darlene,
yes.
and Kate.
Yes.
Can you just
Madam
tell me
Chair,
who did the second on that motion, please?
It was Jen. Jerry made the first and Jen made the second.
Thank you.
It's all you, Jen.
All right, some reason I don't see your screen, Kevin. I don't know what I did.
He's not sharing anything.
Oh, okay.
No.
All right, so let me flip over to the agenda.
Oh, how's that?
Okay.
Can you see it now?
Oh, there it is. Okay. I just want to be on the same agenda. All right. Do you have any citizen comments at this time? I'm not sure if everybody's here. Nope, I guess we don't. Okay. Presentation of school programs. Anything more? We're good? Okay. Old business tuition contract, the high school. I think, Kevin, you had some updates for this?
Yeah, hopefully in May, they're going to have an organizational meeting coming up. So Jackson has their members. Off the top of my head, I don't have it in front of me, but they do have that. So hopefully we'll get everybody on board and get started in May.
Great. That's awesome. All right, instructional issues, second reading. So we have the second reading and adoption of policies, which means once we approve them, they'll be through. I'd like to make a motion to accept 6A 1 through 9. And then we can vote on them at once and discuss them individually. So Jerry, if you
I
want
second that.
Okay, all those in favor of accepting all of those, Jen,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Darlene,
Yes,
and Kate.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna move on to 6B. Same thing. Make a motion to move from first reading to second reading of policy 6B 1 through 13. I think it's just 13, yep.
I second that motion.
Okay. Any discussion on any of them, since this is the first reading? So we can go through them each one. There's a lot of them, though. A lot of them are just housekeeping at this point.
Kevin?
Jen, can I point out on the agenda format in your
Oh, right,
your
yep.
packet, right? So I did go through, there was some question about whether, salute to the flag, Pledge of Allegiance was on there. At the February meeting, you decided to take it off of the agenda altogether. In the
Mhm.
board packet that you do have, it does still have that on there, and you will remove that unless there's some other compelling reason to keep it on there. But you voted in February to remove that off of the agenda.
Mhm. Thank you. Okay. All right, we'll move forward then. If no one has any questions, we'll move forward to voting to move all of 6B 1 through 13 from first reading to second reading.
All those in favor, Jen,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Darlene,
Yes,
Kate,
Yes.
sorry.
No, you're fine. Okay. So 6C, first reading it, well, that goes in with the other, I assume, does,
It's a separate policy that needs to be voted on because of the nature of that. Yeah.
all right.
I moved the first reading of the adoption of policy GADA prohibiting aiding and abetting of sexual abuse.
Second. Okay. All those in favor?
Jen,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Darlene,
yes,
and Kate.
Yes.
Okay, we need an approval for Ferry Beach trip. Is this really happening?
Actually, it is, except it's going to be a lot different than it used to be. We are not going with Bartlett. It's a Jackson 6th grade trip alone.
Mhm.
They are providing us with the entire dorm. Each student will have their own bedroom. They will share the bathroom facilities, but they'll be masked. Their staff, of course, there'll be one naturalist assigned to us, also masked at all times. We will eat outside in a pavilion with picnic tables, so we won't be inside. And all of the cooking staff personnel have been trained in COVID, and in addition to the regular health precautions that any kitchen person would have to have. They've been trained in COVID procedures as well. So we felt like there were sufficient precautions in place to make it a safe trip. And our 6th graders, have earned the money over the last 2 years to be able to go on this trip with Bartlett normally, but at least this way they can have their 6th grade end of the year trip in a way that's also safe. And because there's only 7 of them, the bus ride in itself is also meets the standards that we have in our transportation plan already. So everything that will happen is in accordance with our own safety protocols. That's why I felt comfortable in bringing this to you for approval.
I think that's fabulous. And what fun is it going to be though? Because they're all going to get a good night's sleep, sleeping by themselves. So
This is true. And the chaperones might get some rest as
Yeah.
well.
no, thank you for even, moving forward with it to see if it was even feasible. So this is fabulous. I think it's a great step. Anybody else? Question?
Can I ask a question? Gail, are you aware at this point, do you have the consent and support of all 7 sixth graders, parents and caregivers, or all those 7 families on board?
We haven't sent permission yet because we don't have permission from you, but we've started to discuss it. And I do know that at least 2 of them, the parents participate in our PTO. And they were asking about some of the typical events that 6th graders, they've got older siblings as well, what 6th graders have had in the past, and had asked us to consider some kind of a camping trip or end of the year thing that felt good to them. So Mike Dufalo was the one who reached out to Ferry Beach, having had contact there, and asked them if there was anything that they could do to accommodate us rather than a camping trip or something that would have been a lot more difficult and perhaps with more risk with tents and being outside and such. So we will, of course, before they go, any parent has the right to send or not to send their individual child. So we'll get that in writing with the permission slips and all.
You know, my sense is that your presentation will, help drive the interest. You know, if you're calm and this is the factual, this is what we're doing, I think that will help support. And my sense is that people are looking for those kinds of things that they think they're traditionally, going to have for their children. So I would guess, and you have a small population of 7, you will do pretty well. But I think it's all in your presentation and how confident you are and how, in what you've got as a set plan, which sounds like you do. So it's exciting.
The chaperones, John Marshall will go with Victoria. So there'll be both a man and a woman there. Take care of the kids. So
I'm sure they could fit another one if you like to rough it a little. Been there, done that, honestly. Yeah.
I've done the trip many times, and it's really a great trip. And it's really easy actually for school staff because they plan all the lessons, they cook all the meals, they make the beds, the kids clean. And the kids clean the cafeteria and, set the tables and serve the food. So it's really an easy field trip to be on as a staff member.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
That's great. So would you like us to vote on this, Gail?
Kevin's waving his hand, so
I can't see Kevin. Not watching
Just
Kevin.
because of the world I live in, I just want to bring up a couple other things. What's the date, Gail, that you're looking at?
19th, 18th, 19th, 20.
Yeah, it just, have you had a conversation about should there be a positive case and you can't go, or in the event that somebody becomes symptomatic when they're there, are there pieces that you're putting in place to just kind of protect, the situation?
Yes. Yeah, we all are aware that could change at any minute, just like our regular schooling. We're assuming everyone will be healthy and ready to go, but if not, we're able to stop and pull the plug if we need to.
And in the event that somebody develops symptoms when they're there, you're only staying, what, 2 nights, 3 nights?
2 nights.
2 nights. Yeah. Just have some mechanism for somebody to get picked up, maybe in the contract with the parents to say, hey, look, we need somebody to pick them up.
Yeah.
So
I'll make a motion to approve the Ferry Beach trip.
Second. Kevin, roll call.
yeah, you bet. So Jen,
Yes, thank you.
Jerry,
Yes.
Darlene,
Yes.
and Kate.
Yes.
Good luck, Gal. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, 7C, election of personnel 21-22. Any discussion? Motion?
Need a motion.
Motion.
Sorry, Jen made the motion. I'll second it.
Any discussion? No? Good. All right. Kevin?
Jen,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Darlene,
Yes.
and Kate.
Yes.
Darlene was yelling at Bob. Okay. So 7D, consider
Definitely.
establishing, consider establishing a full-time special education teacher position.
I'll make a motion to establish the full-time special ed teacher position.
I can second.
Yeah.
Any discussion? All right. Kevin?
Jen,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Darlene,
Yes.
and Kate.
Yes.
All right. 7E, consider establishing a world language tutor position. Yes.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Jen,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Darlene,
Yes.
and Kate.
Yes.
7F, consider establishing a library media specialist position, 20%.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Kate, you got it.
All in favor? Jen,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Darlene,
Yes.
and Kate.
Yes.
Right, and this is when I get to botch someone's name up. So 7G, accept resignation of Amanda Fisher Katz Keown.
Cohen,
So moved.
Second.
all those in favor? Jen,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Darlene,
Yes.
and Kate.
Yes.
Does anyone have any questions on 7H, the inactive positions?
Yeah, Jen, I guess, is that the positions that are no longer going to be filled? That they'll still be there, but they're not going to be filled anymore.
That's correct. Part of that reorganization of those positions, Jerry, is what we're,
So if we go back to part-time for any of those, then we don't actually have to go through the mechanization of making new positions for them.
great.
Which is lovely, yes. All right. Business affairs, the FY budget status report. Any questions on the budget? Nope. Okay. We're looking to consider approval for food service agreement with Bartlett.
So
Still
moved.
in price at $3.25, I believe. So we have a motion on the table. We need a second. Or I can second. Okay, thank you. All those in favor?
Jen,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Darlene,
Yes.
and Kate.
Yes.
Okay, 8C, consider donation of Friends of the Whitney Community Center. I don't have the sheet in front of me, but I think it comes out to 7,000 and change.
$209, yep.
$7,209. So a motion to consider the Friends of the Whitney Donation Center fund for $7,209 or $9, right? Okay,
So moved.
I'll second.
thank you.
All those in favor? Jen,
Yes?
Jerry,
Yes.
Darlene,
Yes.
and Kate.
Yes.
Okay, 8D, this was kind of new on my desk, Kevin. I have it printed out here, at least the last page. Approval of general assurances, requirements, and definitions for participation in federal programs.
Yeah, they started doing this a couple of years ago. This is so that we can accept and we meet all the guidelines. And if it's federal dollars, we have to follow certain procedures for purchasing, for hiring, any of those pieces. But yeah, we've done this for the past, I think it's the last 3 years they've had it in place. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just scan it and send it back. Is that all right?
Yeah, you have to, let me see, is this the one that you have to sign? Yeah, you have to sign at
Yes.
the
Mail it.
Fine.
Okay.
bottom, Jen.
She has to sign.
Yeah, I got the signing part. All right, I'll send that back in. Okay. And then we move on to, go ahead.
You need a motion and you need a
Yeah, it
second.
needs to be approved by the board before you sign
Oh.
it.
Okay,
So I'll make a motion to approve the general assurances requirements and definitions for participation in federal programs.
I can
I
second.
second. Okay, go ahead, Jen, Kate.
All those in favor? Jen,
Well, it's my life, so yeah, sure. Everybody else sign away on it. Yeah.
Terry,
Yes.
Darlene,
Yes.
and Kate.
Yes.
I don't know why you guys have to sign. All right, anyway.
And with
Jen.
great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, but you guys
There
are
you go.
voting on my life. Okay, 8E, declare equipment surplus and authorize disposal.
So moved.
Second. I'm
All
good.
those in favor of getting rid of your 1997 Acer monitors? Yes.
Mm,
Our paperweight? Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Darlene,
yes.
and Kate.
Yes.
Okay, Kevin, you're back
Yeah.
up.
Most of you folks heard from me the other night at the SAU board, but for the general public in Jackson, a few things I should probably just make the general public aware of. One is the governor's executive order 89. The good news is in Jackson and the kids in the high school. Basically, that said that all students who wanted to come back face to face had to be back in school beginning today. The good news is all of our schools are open and they're all face to face for anybody who wants to. If people want to remain in distance learning, they absolutely can. And that's up to them. But if they decide, you know, the last 4 weeks of school, we'd like our kids to come back face to face, we'll make those accommodations and make that happen. The good news is Jackson has been outstanding as far as following the protocols and really your numbers, knock on wood, I shouldn't say it publicly, but you guys have been dynamite as far as being real successful managing through the COVID crisis. So that's a tribute to not only the staff, but to the community at large. So good job, and Mr. Stokey for keeping the building clean and making that happen. The other piece is the governor last week said that, you know, lifting the mask mandate, and I'm not inclined to do that anytime soon. And we're going to keep that in place. We did inform everybody through email and electronic communication that we expect the mask to stay in place. Along those lines, the last little bit is the staff throughout SAU 9, including Jackson staff, will get their second vaccination on Saturday, which is a good thing. And they'll be fully vaccinated by May 8th. So in the event that, you know, cases do come up, they should have an impact on, especially the high school for your folks and even Bartlett, less quarantining moving forward that has to take place. You know, Pam has been in contact with Department of Health and Human Services and Victoria Page, who's been helping out with the staff vaccinations. I don't know if Pam, you want to take a minute just to kind of let the general public know what's happening in that world?
Sure. So you talked about the staff vaccinations. At this point in time, as of today, the governor has opened up the state for anyone to be vaccinated. So if anyone, whether they own a second home, they live here, they go to school here, or they're just visiting, they can get into the VINI system through nh.gov and register for vaccination. Many sites are open and there are many vaccines to be had. We are going to be meeting with some medical providers from Saco River Medical Group, the hospital, and White Mountain Community Health to talk about encouraging families to get their 16 to 18-year-olds vaccinated. And Public Health is talking about putting together a community drive-through vaccine within the next several weeks. So we'll be meeting on that Thursday morning, and I'll be able to give you more information, but we'll be advertising. They will be advertising through the paper and probably on the radio as well. So that will be a nice time for parents to be able to be with students, because if you're 16 to 18, you need to have a guardian with you. We're just very fortunate and grateful for all of the support from our medical providers, medical staff, all of our local businesses that are supporting these vaccine clinics. It's been incredible, and we're truly grateful. Excited to have this under our belt, and if we have to do boosters, at least we know what we're doing. So we'll be good to go.
Yep. Thank you for all you guys have done. So I really appreciate it. And thank you for including the school board members as well for the school vaccines with SAU 9. So I appreciate it.
So Kevin, I do have a question. It seems that sometimes second dose reactions. What about, staff's getting it on Saturday? Let's hope they do well. They're younger, which seems to be that there's more reactions. I'm sure you've thought about it. I'm sure, so what do you think for Monday? You're just gonna play it by ear?
No, here's the thing, Darlene. It was more serendipitous than it was anything else. We didn't pick the dates for these
Okay.
vaccines, but the vacation week is next week.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, great.
People are off anyway. It just happened to work that way.
Oh,
Yeah. And, there's no
excellent.
conspiracy theory. I'm telling you, Pam and I, when they said these are the dates, as soon as we could get you. But I do know that throughout the state of New Hampshire, there were several districts that had to close down today because second shot.
Teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And interesting side note, I volunteered, surprise, at the COVID clinic for Memorial. And last week I was quite surprised. The numbers were really down. The week before when I had been there, they had like almost 300 for the day. And last Wednesday, they had only like 215. I was surprised at the few young people. Now your Kennett High School was on remote learning, so those kids were available. So hopefully that, that does increase and those 16 to 21-year-olds get vaccinated. So that was just my observation. I was quite surprised there weren't more kids, signing up real fast, but it may take a while to catch on.
Just because I like things to be kind of crystal clear and black and white for all of us as much as possible. With the governor's executive order on April 19th, returning to full school for everyone, it kind of made everything that we did last summer moot at this point in time. But to me, it's what the SAU has done and the administrators and staff of all the schools in the SAU 9. It's been a gargantuan effort to keep kids in school and to get us this far. Under the old policy, it was Kevin would call for sending the kids remote from school. And you mentioned it the other night, Kevin, that you have the ability to ask for waivers when it's necessary. Just wanted to let you know that you have my full support in how you handle things. I have a lot more faith in you than necessarily the governor for that sort of thing. And it's just nice to know that you are on top of it. You plan to follow basically all the protocols that we set in place in September anyway, even though the governor made them all moot. It's just good to know that. And that as far as policy is concerned, nothing's really going to change. That if there's an outbreak in one of our schools, you don't have any problem calling it for it to go to remote, requesting the waiver and seeing it done. And I believe that you're still following basically the same protocols that we had in place in September. So I appreciate that and support your effort in that.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. All right. Any other questions before we move on about COVID? Nope. All right. Student presentation request. I believe we've done that.
Yep.
SAS state testing, Gail?
Right, so I did talk about Ferry Beach as well. So it's just to let you know that we will be administering the New Hampshire state test between May 10th and May 22nd for grades 3 through 6 and 5th grade science as well. So we have sent home letters to our remote students as well to enable them to come to school and take the test with us if they so desire. However, you may also opt out. So all that information was just sent out to families this week. So just wanted to make you aware that those tests are happening.
Will there be a remote option, or if the students opt out to coming in person, are they just opting out of the test altogether?
They just opt out of the test. There's concerns about proctoring and resources and things like that in the home situation. So the state required that all remote students come to the school building. They don't have to be in the classroom with the other students. We have to find a separate testing location and a proctor for them.
There was just recently, and I'll help clarify it. I just got it. I think it was even today. They were talking about remote SAS testing and having it done remotely. But I'll find out a little bit more. I know there was a topic of discussion at the Department of Education. It may be a little tricky though. That's the only thing.
Can I just ask, so, okay, so we do this SAS testing, and then what? What does it do? Do you get money for that? Do you get money taken away? What is the, you know what I mean, Kevin?
There's this threat that if we don't do it, Darlene,
Yep.
they will take away your adequacy aid at the state level, which in Jackson really doesn't matter, you know.
Yeah, well, let them go and let them do what they can, let them do what they can then. Okay. I'm not, I'm not being critical. I'm just asking.
Any other questions on the state testing? Nope. All right.
Oh, the one other thing that I wanted to bring up is the summer program. It's not formally on here, but typically I'm sending home information to families about a summer program. And I am proposing that we hold a summer program this summer. I am also proposing that we not accept students from out of state as we have in the past, limit it to the students who have been in our building over this school year, and shorten up the hours a little bit. We'd also reduce the field trips. We will not go swimming at White Lake. We might go for hikes and do some activities outside that would enable us to adequately social distance. And we'll follow all the same protocols we do with school, with masking and screenings and quarantining and that kind of thing. So I don't know if I need to get your approval for that or if that's just a presentation, but I would like to hold a summer program this summer. And we do have funds in the budget to do that.
I saw the information that was sent out today from Ms. Susan, so it looks great.
And when I got it in the newsletter, I think in advance of the weekend, one of the questions I had written down for this evening was about the summer program and about students that aren't part of the Jackson Grammar School community currently attending. And so thank you for answering that ahead of time.
Great, yeah.
Great. If somebody was gonna, if a student moved in during the summer and they were planning to attend in the fall, you would take them though?
I'll have to think on that one. If, like you said, if they're coming in from out of state, I might not feel so hospitable.
But if they, even though they're gonna plan to attend the school in the fall.
And if they register
Mhm.
officially, then they're registered as a Jackson student.
Okay, yeah, I
But
would.
they
want-
wouldn't be a current enrolled student until September. Is that how it works? Or like till the start of the school year?
Perhaps we could ask them to quarantine
Mhm.
and then attend.
I mean, I don't know. I think all of our houses are sold in town, so I don't think we're gonna
It
have that.
seems that way, yeah.
Yeah. Unless someone's gonna camp on a piece of land. Okay, just putting it out there. All right.
Just for,
Yep.
so Gail's has clarification, I guess I'll go ahead and make a motion to support the summer program as outlined by Gail.
Great. Second,
All those in favor, Jen,
yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Darlene,
Yes.
and Kate.
Yes.
Oh, dear Jesus.
You're still there, Darlene. It's not your picture.
We can hear
Holy
you.
God.
Did you fall over? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm personally fine, but
Okay.
my screen has a church on. Okay, I'll be back.
All right.
Yeah, I'll find you guys.
Oh my God.
Oh, Lord. We'll find you. Don't worry.
Are you talking to us or the church?
I know I'm all good with the church. Anyone need any help? I can help you. Oh, Zoom. There you go. All right, there you go. How's that for technology?
Welcome back.
Oh, yeah.
Right. All right, committee reports. We have the policy committee, which we've already established. We're still meeting on a regular basis, going over old policies, new policies, and any policies anybody would like to throw at us. So we've moved on. We're still somewhat in the 80s. We've moved up to the 90s, and we're just encompassing it all. So, but if anybody has anything pressing, feel free to add to it.
And Jen, I don't know if we officially gave Katie a giant shout out for her ability to keep all of those letters and numbers and all of these things organized and incredibly efficient with paper and screens and everything up. She's just doing an awesome job helping us kind of bang out a ton of old material and update it. So that goes, give a little shout out to Katie because she's helping a ton.
Yeah, I don't know how she does it myself, but I'm very happy she is doing it. So
Yes.
yeah, no, thank you.
I'll second and third that.
Yeah. So I feel good that we, should we all get audited or whatever we need, we will have a good portion of our policies updated. So we'll look good. Yeah. All right. So the board discussion, 10B, review goal setting session outcomes. So first I'd like to thank everybody. Oh, I can read it. Thank you, Kevin. I had this little sheet and I couldn't read it. I just wanted to thank everybody for taking the time for the pre-work that went into this as well with the staff. I know I sent a letter, Dale, thank you for passing it on for me to the staff, to have them included as well as school board members. So I appreciate this. I feel more centered now that we have this done moving forward for the rest of the year. I would like to continue to do that, to do this session, maybe once in the fall, a mini session, and then again, obviously this time of year next year. But this gives us something to go forward with, move ahead with as things come up, and obviously things can change, but at least we have some stakes in the ground for committees and stuff. So this was an excellent meeting. I don't know if anybody else would like to add, but I really appreciate it and I feel more grounded and focused as we move forward. So
Obviously as a first timer, I thought it was a great session. I think I said to you, Jen, I couldn't believe how much got accomplished in 2.25 hours. And I think having a person that was moderating was key rather than just the board. Quite honestly, I think having an outside person that had some knowledge and they kept us together and they kept us organized. And in 2.25 hours, this is what we produced. And, I felt very comfortable with it. And I think it was a great experience. And, I think we have some goals. I think it was great to work together with a group of people that had the common goal to go ahead and see what we can do to, make this a better place. And I think that's what we accomplished.
great. Thank you. Anybody else want to chime in, or I'm going to take a look at the screen here. And I know that we had set 4 agenda items for the next school board meeting in the upper right-hand corner. So I don't necessarily, since we're here and this is public knowledge, I don't know if we want to take the time to go over everything, but would like to give Gail a little time to work with the staff to review the board contributions questions under the, what we talked about during the goal setting session for the staff, for Gail. And then I'm going to move my little box over here so I can read. Review the teacher and staff salaries and compare to state and local averages. I'd like to pass that off to the personnel committee to do that. And then come back at the next meeting with the to-dos, and then evaluate and discuss the school liaison position and what comes next. So that was Kate, and that was an excellent opportunity to review that. So I'd like to pass that off to Gail. And even if you want to have Ms. Hill come to the next meeting, you know, to review, that would be fabulous as well. I think a little FaceTime would be nice to see her.
And I have asked her to put together her data and a little bit of a report of what she's done this year and what her goals might be for next year's with the position.
Perfect. So we'll
Gail,
give her,
were you, had you just gone to a classroom when we chatted about that, or were you there for when we talked about that?
I
she was
think
there.
I was there for a little bit of the discussion.
Okay, awesome. Because I'm excited to kind of hear how it's going and what's happening. And I know that's a little bit of a different makeup based on Victoria spending her time at the grammar school, and the kind of the other schools being a little bit more kind of closed pod. But I'm excited to hear how that's going, because I think we did some good work there and made a really cool position for all of our Jackson-based kids and so students. And so I'm excited to hear how it's going for those students too.
Mhm. Great. And then the last was discuss and give direction to the Jackson Grammar School around the pandemic. And I believe that was for moving forward with continued outside classroom as much as possible. At this point in time, that was the direction that we had. Nothing to do with masks or anything like that. That comes from really Kevin in the committee. So was there anything else anybody took away from that for the agenda?
Jen, just to clarify for the personnel committee, I don't think I'm on the personnel committee, but does the board want the personnel committee to do that and report at the next meeting, or does it want the personnel committee just to tell us the process they're going to use to do that at the next meeting?
No, I think they should. I think we have enough information usually on hand that we can actually do that and come back with an answer as to where we stand for the next meeting.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah. Does anybody have anything else that they feel we should discuss in any of the other categories for tonight?
For me, I know Gail and Kevin and everybody is already going to do this, but just when we get back from April break, just as the numbers have continued to go up in our community, and a lot of people now, because of the governor's mandate and the school kind of needing to follow suit and lift some of our original travel restrictions as a community, I think we all are aware of a lot of folks making decisions and going places. And so when we return to school, my hope is that, the weather will be beautiful. Our students will be outside. All of the windows will be open always. All of the masks will be happening. And just that really diligent kind of push for that last, I think it's on 7 weeks of school, and so those last 7 weeks, all of those policies and protocols will hang really strong and really tough, and get our people to the summertime.
I agree. Thank you, Kate. There is one thing else that the facilities, I don't know when their next meeting is, but based on our goal setting session, they should probably have a meeting scheduled pretty soon. A lot of our goal setting session was facilities came up fairly often.
And
So
Jerry, your next step was going to be, was it?
So yeah, I got to email Jim Hill and ask him for what the next step in the process is going to be, because if we appropriated the money, which would begin in July, we can probably get a few ducks in the row before then to be set up for that. So we'll have, it might be nice to get a facility committee meeting before May 17th. So if we can arrange that, it would be good, just so we can present some information on how we're going to move forward with the design for the addition there.
Mhm. And I would, based on this and based on the staff, when I met with the staff, Jerry, just to let you guys know, you may want to do some type of survey or a meeting with the staff before the end of the year to get their ideas and thoughts on what they're looking for.
So Janet, the last facility meeting, we did discuss with Gail that that she would review the plans and have discussions with the staff and with John Stokey about those plans and if there's any changes that should be made. But yeah, it's definitely a topic for discussion at the next facility meeting, is to ask that question and to see where we're at with that. But good point, Jen, thanks.
They did have a lot of great ideas, so just inclusion, that's all. And I don't want to miss anything either. I know you guys don't either, so, all right, great. Okay, so set the date for the next meeting, May 17th. Does that work for everybody? It's my anniversary. I don't know. It never works that well for John and I. Never. I don't know. I may have to miss that meeting. We'll see. All right. And then we have a joint board session meeting, May 4th at 5 with our lovely partners from Bartlett.
So
Who attends that?
We do. And then
All of
All
Bartlett.
of,
Yeah.
Yep,
all of us?
Yep, it's a joint board, so it's Bartlett joint and us joint board.
it's
Okay.
hosted by Bartlett in the spring, Darlene. So we'll go to their meeting, albeit remotely, but we'll be attending their meeting on May 4th. But back to the 17th, Jen,
Yes.
there's no reason we can't change that
Thanks,
date
Jen.
if you want to.
I don't want to make everybody else's life, crazy.
You gotta be kidding.
What?
Our lives are not crazy with
Well,
schedules?
Kevin's is, I mean, he's booked up from now
Well,
until,
Honestly, I need to have a conversation with Kevin. The man never,
he never takes a day off, so I
Yeah.
will leave it at this for right now.
Yeah.
As a citizen, I have a comment. Do we have any input or feedback on the graduation for the Kennett High School kids?
Yeah, you always have feedback. Sure. I know they actually had a meeting today. I will tell you, I am not part of those meetings. Simply, I just can't fill it in my dance card, but I know that they have been meeting. I know Katie Wilson's also involved with that one. If you have input, by all means, share it either as a parent or board members.
I was looking for information because if more people ask me and I have nothing.
Oh, well, I will tell them, Katie will ride herd on them. You'll be getting information real quickly here. Probably at the next Conway board meeting, which is a week from tonight, they should have a pretty good idea of what it is that they're going to be doing.
Just
in
an
the-
outline, good, because if I have one more person ask me and they're like, well, you're on the school board, you should know.
Yeah.
All
I'm a
right.
superintendent, what do I know? I know.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, any other citizen comments? No, I think we should have kids at every school board meeting because I never get to see them. All
That was,
right,
that was a good treat to start with. It was like a nice little surprise. Yeah. It
it
was awesome.
reminds me of why we're here, All right, we did the non-public session, so we are good to go. Anybody else have anything?
It was nice seeing all the kids out in the front yard doing drawings today, or paintings. I'm not sure what they're doing, but I got to see them twice today at the meeting and outside in the schoolyard.
Yeah,
Nice to see them outside taking advantage of the weather and doing some nice art.
We replaced, this would have been CSA week for our school play.
Mm.
And we replaced it with Melanie Levitt is doing plein air painting. You
Oh,
know,
so
Jackson's
cool.
famous for plein air. So they're all outside in the painting the school.
That's
I got
awesome.
some awesome pictures of our kids and got to drive by Spy a few times today, and it was just awesome. It looked like a really successful first day, and so this week should be fun, and fingers crossed for the weather to hold really nicely for them.
I hope so, yeah.
I feel like a stalker. I live right on the corner, so I go by 3 or 4 times a day. Depending who's out there, they'll actually wave. They'll make all the kids wave to me. I'm like, oh geez, on recess and stuff. But no, it's awesome. Great job. All right. Well, with all that, gonna adjourn the meeting.
Perfect.
Do adjourn.
All right. Thank you guys very much. Have a great day.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Good
Take
night.
care.
You.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Want to stay on just for a second?
Sure.
Me? No? Pam?
Yeah.
Pam. Sorry, Pam.
Thanks. It's okay.
All the kids wave to you, Jen, because they think you're Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly. They know who that is, right? Some relic of an actress. Okay. Thanks, guys. Thank you guys for all you do. So Pam, what's your favorite beverage? Adult beverage.
Oh, no, you don't have to.